Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into Novo Nordisk. You've probably seen the name everywhere lately, right? The pharma giant behind some seriously talked about drugs.
Absolutely. There's been a lot of buzz, a lot of market movement.
Exactly. So, our mission today is simple. Cut through that noise. We're going to dig into the financials, earnings calls, analyst takes, news up, everything, really. We want to help you understand what's actually going on with Novo Nordisk NVO, their challenges, where they might be headed, and, what it all means for you, whether you're just curious or actively tracking the market.
And what's really interesting here, I think, is seeing how a company that seems so dominant, so established, can still face these pretty significant headwinds. It sparks a lot of debate.
For sure.
So we're not just going to read off numbers. We'll try to connect the dots, look for patterns, and figure out not just what the data says, but maybe why it matters for them and the whole healthcare picture.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Who is Novo Nordisk? What's their main thing?
Well, they're Novo Nordisk A, Danish company, founded way back 1923. Healthcare sector, obviously. Drug manufacturing.
Right. And their business really breaks down into two main chunks, doesn't it?
Yeah, essentially, you got the big one, diabetes and obesity care. That's where you find the famous stuff like insulin pens, Ozempic, Wegovy, but also cardiovascular treatments, other related areas.
And they're pushing into smart solutions too, I saw?
Correct. Then there's the rare disease segment. Important stuff like treatments for hemophilia, rare blood disorders, endocrine issues, hormone replacement therapy. It's not as big as diabetes, obesity, but still crucial.
Okay, let's get a quick financial snapshot. Based on the sources, the stock price is hovering around $48.80 USD. Last close was a bit lower, $45.38.
Reflecting some of that recent volatility we mentioned.
And the market cap. Huge, just shy of $200 billion USD. What really jumps out, though, is the difference between that current price, the analyst fair value, around $58.73, and then our internal target.
Which is quite a bit higher.
Right? $94.85. That gap, that's kind of the story we need to unpack, isn't it? Is it undervalued? Or are people just cautious right now?
It suggests there are definitely differing opinions out there.
Looking at the ratios, quick rundown. PE around 14, price to sales 5.1, price free cash flow about 20.7, price to book over 10, solid dividend too, about 3.5% yield.
And that payout ratio, under 50%, suggests it's pretty sustainable.
Yeah. Next earnings aren't until November 2025, so we've got some time before the next official update.
So that valuation difference and just their overall strength, it brings up this idea of their economic moat. Why do people say Novo Nordisk has a wide moat?
Good question. It's not just about being big, is it?
No, not at all. It's about defensible advantages.
Yeah.
For Novo, it really comes down to two main things: intangible assets and cost advantages.
Intangibles?
Like strong brand names, obviously, but also, critically, patents on their key drugs and deep know-how in navigating the complex world of drug regulation. Plus, they have a massive cost advantage from their sheer scale. Think about producing insulin or GLP-1s globally. They do it incredibly efficiently.
And that scale translates to market share, right? I saw a number 71% GLP-1 volume share in international operations. That's dominant.
It's staggering, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's built on those proprietary products, Ozempic, Wegovy, Rybelsus, semaglutide. They're patent-protected, proven effective.
Especially Ozempic with the cardiovascular benefits. That's a big deal.
A huge deal. It sets it apart. And they're not standing still. Their pipeline has next-gen stuff like amycretin coming through, which they hope will keep them ahead. Plus, they actively fight back against, illegal copies through legal action. It's a full-court press to protect that moat.
That 71% share, wow, it paints a picture of, total dominance. But, and here's where it gets really interesting. Q2 2025 wasn't quite the slam dunk people expected, was it? Despite solid growth in the first half.
You're absolutely right. That's the puzzle. I mean, look at the first 6 months of 2025. 18% sales growth, 29% operating profit growth, adjusting for currency effects. Pretty impressive numbers.
Sounds great. So what happened?
Well, despite that, management lowered their full-year outlook for 2025, and not by a small amount.
Okay, break that down.
So sales growth guidance for the year dropped from 13-19% down to 8-14%. Operating profit growth down from 16-22% to 10-16%.
Yeah.
And maybe most importantly for investors, free cash flow.
Let me guess, down to?
Yep. Cut from DKK 45-55 billion down to 35-45 billion Danish kroner. That kind of revision definitely signals something's up.
So what is up? Why the sudden caution? The sources point to a few key things weighing on them.
It seems like a confluence of factors.
Yeah, number one seems to be this unlawful compounding issue, mainly in the US. Can you explain that quickly? What are GLP-1s and what's compounding?
Sure, so GLP-1s, glucagon-like peptide ones, they mimic a gut hormone. They help manage blood sugar, make you feel full longer. Think Ozempic, Wegovy, powerful drugs for diabetes and obesity. Compounding is when, say, a pharmacy mixes up its own version of a drug. Sometimes it's necessary for specific patient needs, but here, well, it seems like some are making versions of patented GLP-1s, often cheaper, but crucially, without Novo Nordisk's quality control or FDA approval for that specific compounded version.
And this is widespread.
The estimates are around 1 million patients in the U.S. might be on these compounded versions. That's 1 million potential Wegovy or Ozempic prescriptions lost, especially hitting the cash pay market hard.
Wow. Okay, what else?
The sources also mentioned slower than expected market expansion for Wegovy and Ozempic in the U.S., maybe hitting some access hurdles, or the market just isn't exploding quite as fast as hoped.
And competition.
Oh yeah, big time. Eli Lilly's tirzepatide, that's Mounjaro and Zepbound, it's a dual agonist, hitting GLP-1 and GIP receptors. Some data suggests it might be even more effective for some things. That's a huge rival.
Plus generics looming. It's exactly. Generic semaglutide is expected in China next year. That changes the game there. And then there are these potential gross to net adjustments. Basically, bigger rebates and discounts eating into the actual price they receive.
So compounding, slower growth, Lilly breathing down their neck, generics coming, pricing pressure. Okay, I see why the market got spooked after Q2. That share price drop makes more sense now.
It does. So the key question then becomes, how are they fighting back? What's the plan?
They're not just taking it, right?
Definitely not. They're being proactive. On the compounding front, they're suing these illicit manufacturers. It's about protecting patents, yes, but also, patient safety is a big part of their messaging.
Makes sense.
They're also trying to go more direct to patient. Initiatives like their NovoCare pharmacy are apparently handling about 10% of Wegovy cash prescriptions now, gives them more control.
And getting onto insurance plans, that's always key.
Crucial, and they had a big win there. Wegovy got exclusive coverage for obesity. Okay, so we've got this picture. Dominant company, amazing drugs, huge potential markets, strong pipeline, but also facing real headwinds, intense competition, pricing pressure, and this compounding issue.
Which leads us perfectly into the bull versus bear debate. How do you weigh all this?
Let's hear the bull case first. Why should investors be optimistic?
Well, the bulls point straight to that market dominance, the 71% GLP-1 share, the wide economic moat we discussed. Semaglutide's proven efficacy, especially the heart benefits, is huge.
The untapped market potential.
Absolutely. Those low penetration rates in diabetes and obesity represent decades of potential growth, arguably. Then there's the pipeline amycretin, MASH, rare diseases, even the Alzheimer's shot, however risky.
And they're fixing the supply issues.
That's the plan. The massive capex nearing its peak is meant to address that directly. Plus, they're actively defending their market with lawsuits and scoring wins like that CVS formulary deal. And the new oral semaglutide for obesity is a big potential catalyst.
Okay, pretty compelling, but what about the bear case? What are the big worries?
The bears look straight at that lowered 2025 guidance. That's a concrete sign of pressure. They focus on the impact of the unlawful compounding, how much revenue is that costing them, and their related pricing pressure.
Competition's a big one for the bears, I assume.
Huge. Lilly's tirzepatide is a direct, powerful threat. Generic semaglutide coming in China next year will erode share and promotions there. The competitive landscape is just getting tougher.
And the legal stuff?
Yeah, there's that overhang from the securities class action lawsuits. Even if they win, it's a distraction and costs money. Plus, the inherent risk in R&D if the Alzheimer's program fails, that's a lot of investment potentially down the drain. And the leadership transition adds a small element of uncertainty, too.
So when you put it all together, the average analyst price target in the last 6 months is around $52.50.
Right, which is, higher than the current $48.80, but well below the $58.73 fair value mentioned in some sources, and definitely below our $94.85 target. It really shows how differently people are weighing those bull and bear factors right now.
So wrapping this up, what's the takeaway? Our deep dive shows Novo Nordisk is, well, a powerhouse. Incredible strengths, massive ambitions for these huge global markets. They're investing, innovating, fighting back.
But they're also clearly in a tricky spot right now. The compounding issue is real, competition is fierce, and they blinked on guidance. It's a complex picture.
Definitely.
So here's a final thought to leave you with, connecting it all. Think about that massive investment they're making in future production capacity. Combine that with the incredibly low percentage of people currently treated for obesity and diabetes globally using these kinds of drugs. If, and it's an if, their legal efforts curb compounding significantly and they successfully execute on expanding access, could Novo Nordisk's growth trajectory actually redefine what's possible for market expansion in pharma? Or will the competitive and pricing pressures ultimately cap that potential?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? We really hope this deep dive gave you a clearer, more informed perspective on Novo Nordisk. Lots to think about.
Hope it was useful.
And if you did find this valuable, please do subscribe and hit that bell icon. It really helps support the channel, and you won't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for joining us.